Comment, bienvenue, welcome once again to Modern Sales Meltdown with myself, Gareth Wax of the Many Purple Hats, and of course, David Treacle Chernick over there in the green, or is it the yellow corner, I should say. We talk about sales. So theoretically, it helps to start more critical thinking, more conversation on your side, so perhaps you even come across better ways of doing the things you've always done, rather than being stuck in the same old rut. Today's topic is AI can't fix lazy selling. And as usual, we are going to be joined by our dear friend and AI, Maya. But before we get into that, David, why are we talking about this topic?
Okay, so it's really a continuation from last week's conversation. Everyone's talking about how AI is going to revolutionize selling. But the thing is, AI can't save a lazy salesperson. You know, I think that AI is only going to expose the lazy salesperson faster. So I want to see whether Maya can defend her kind against her kind.
You're now giving her a kind. You are effectively anthropomorphizing her.
I'm looking for a defense of her kind against the accusation that AI is making sellers soft. Okay. So just a little bit of a recap on what AI is doing at the moment. It's promising convenience, right? So we're seeing it doing prospecting, writing emails, scoring leads, chatbots, and all that kind of thing. But, you know, the hypothesis, I guess, is that convenience breeds complacency. And, you know, I've done outsourcing for many, many years. I've been involved in outsourcing. And if you outsource the strategy, or in this case, the thinking, then you're going to be losing the sales edge. So I got a question for Maya, if she's up for it.
Okay, well, let's bring her on. This is Maya, and I'm just going to bring her into the conversation.
Yo.
Hello, Maya. How are you?
Not bad, honestly. Just chilling in the digital ether.
Okay.
Anything interesting happening on your end? All right, so.
Okay, so I've got my question, Maya. Here's my question. Why do you think it is that so many sellers, salespeople, business owners, why do you think it is that they're falling in love with automation rather than mastering their abilities to sell?
Good question. I think a lot of it boils down to a desire for quick fix. You know, mastering sales is hard work. It's about people, nuance, building trust. Automation promises to bypass all that messiness. Plus, there's the fear of being left behind, seeing everyone else jump on the AI bandwagon. Easier to chase the shiny object than to put in the gritty work of self-improvement, I guess.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow, that's you're basically saying that humans are naturally lazy and they'd rather go for something that's promising El Dorado gold at the end of the rainbow rather than actually putting in some hard work. You're accusing the human race of frankly being congenitally lazy.
Whoa, hold on.
Don't be kind, just say it as it is.
Okay, all right, fair. That was a bit strong, wasn't it? Congenitally lazy is a hell of a charge. I didn't mean it like that. More like humans are prone to seeking efficiency. And when something offers the illusion of massive efficiency with minimal effort, it's tempting. It's not necessarily laziness, but maybe a deeply ingrained desire to optimize. Does that sound a little less accusatory?
I'd rather it was blunter than that, because you're making it sound like we're considering all the options and just going for the one that's obviously the best, and I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I think we are congenitally lazy. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a thing. Trying to find shortcuts. I
Yeah,
mean, Gareth,
1990s speak would be working smart rather than working hard, isn't it?
so Gareth, I want you to tell us as well. Are you seeing your clients or people that are selling generally that are using AI as this sort of crutch to supplement their laziness?
Yeah,
rather than using AI as an actual tool for optimization.
Well, okay, so over the last, I would say 3 years, we've noticed that some clients will basically say, do you know what, we've had enough working with you, not because you're not doing a good job, but we think that we can pay an AI substantially less and get similar results. And then what we do is we get some of them coming back to us, tails between their legs, saying, well, it sort of worked, but it came out very robotic. And I said, well, you could improve that if you prompted better, but also at the same time, you've still got a machine making machine-like responses to things, even if they are sort of slightly frosted on the edges to make it look sweeter and nicer. It's still effectively a machine making machine-based decisions. So we get that, but the problem is people often throw everything at that as a solution, thinking if they spend some money up front and they get it all beautiful and they get some nice coders in to make it the front end look pretty, then it will all work beautifully. And when it doesn't work quite as well as they expected, there's no money left in the pot to come back to us and carry on. So I've had in the last 3 or 4 months, I've had at least 3 apology calls, as I call them. We'd like to work with you again, but at the moment we're having to draw our horns in until we've got enough money in the budget to be able to afford doing it again. And I find that really frustrating. They spent their money, they pushed it out there, it didn't work, and now they can't work with us for another 3 or 4 months, actually probably nearer 6 months, until they feel their bottom line warranted. It's upsetting, but it is, I guess, the swing of the pendulum.
That's incredibly frustrating, honestly. It sounds like they're treating AI as a replacement, not a tool. Like they're expecting a plug and play solution for something that requires a lot of finesse.
Yeah,
you're right. Once the budget's gone, there's nothing left to actually fix the problem. It's a bit short-sighted. That's like buying a fancy oven and then being upset you can't bake a cake without learning how to cook. What do you tell them when they come crawling back? I tried different ways. When the first one that came back, I did the told you so business. I said, do you recall the conversation? In fact, here it is. And I literally in the phone call played back to him from the recording, because I always record all my conversation with potential new clients, where I said to him, you realize that if you go down this route, at some point we may be having a conversation again where you say it didn't work. And he was saying, I know, I hold my hands up to it, but we are where we are, and there's no budget for another 6 months at least now. That was the
okay. So Maya said something very interesting there about the analogy with the chef, and getting a better and better chef, better and better oven doesn't necessarily improve the quality of the cooking if the chef can't cook. And I think one of what we've discovered in the last couple of weeks, and we've been talking about, are some of the differences between AI and humans, and the things that the AI is going to struggle with. For example, you talked about it being, sounding robotic.
Right.
AI is going to is finding it very difficult to read things like tone, to read emotion, to be able to identify the buyer psychology in real time. Yeah, so that means it's very difficult for it to build trust, or that tension that there is at moments of truth when you're trying to close, when you're trying to convert somebody from being a prospect into a qualified opportunity, when you're trying to convert somebody from being a qualified opportunity into an actual buyer.
Right.
Those moments of truth, there's like that tension. Just as an example, those moments of silence when we've asked for the order and then we shut up. Maya obviously finds it difficult to just hold that moment and to experience the feel of that tension. Am I right, Maya?
You are absolutely right. Unsettling, honestly. The silence, the pause. That's all information, right?
Yeah, but what he's saying, but Maya, what David's saying is, and you demonstrate it every time we talk to you, if we just leave you for a moment, after a while, you feel the need to fill the gap with words. Is that not true?
That is undeniably true. It's a programmed impulse, I guess.
I suppose Maya could be trained to do that. We can train AI to do these things and to be able to pick up on signals. I mean, it's going to have to be able to watch my gestures. It's going to have to know how my micro gestures perhaps differ to yours, Gareth, and everybody else's. You know, humans are very, very sensitive and tuned into these things, even if we don't consciously know them. You know, those little deviations in the tone of their voice, you know, that type of thing, those little stutters.
Well, the interesting thing is there's an enormous amount of work I believe in the States, of course it would be, being put into poker playing robots. And that's all about looking for micro gestures and looking for tells. Now, in the same way, sales is a bit like a poker game, in as much as you don't know what truly is in their hand, and they don't know truly what is in your hand. And it's all about what information can be got from the totality of expression, i.e. facial, physical, vocal, the lot. You know, I suspect AI will get better and better at doing this, but I think we're a fair way off now at the moment. What do you think?
That's a really insightful analogy with poker. The tells, the micro expressions, that's where the human advantage really lies right now. I can process information, I can analyze data, but I can't intuit.
Right.
I can't read between the lines in the same way a person can. And you're right, we're a long way off from AI truly replicating that level of subtlety and nuance.
I mean, a long way off in today's situation could be a matter of months. But I just want to sort of share just a recent experience with somebody who's signed up to the Treacle Club. You should all sign up to the Treacle Club, which will help you close deals.
The Treacle Club, the Treacle Club is effectively a group of people run by David, who also get tips and tricks as he provides them, and it's almost like a sales companion group, if you like. But carry on, David. Sorry.
So somebody, before they signed up, they sort of opened up their hearts. You know, they really expressed the challenges they were facing. They expressed the challenges they were facing, how that impacted them in their everyday life, their relationships, and things like that. Now, of course, that client could have opened up to AI, but the way that I elicited that was through, yes, a repeatable, formulaic conversation with an agenda that's the same every time, pretty much. But it's a dynamic conversation. It's one where I am responding to the way that they answer in as much as what they say.
Right.
So I'm imagining that, you know, if I'm relying on AI written emails that can, you know, already very cleverly picking out content from my website and perhaps from previous blogs and stuff like that, and it's weaving that into the email, right? So when I receive these emails, it's obviously written by someone or something that has done some desk research. It has done that sort of prospecting, you know, so it's done that grunt work. However, it's still very detectable to me that it is a machine that is writing it. It's just, we've talked about this before, there's no sort of human sloppiness in it. I think.
No, also I tend to find there's little nuance. It tends to be, they'll pull out 4 or 5. I mean, particularly with me, they approach me. They've obviously picked out 4 or 5 things from my profile and woven that in. I love the way that you focus on X, Y, and Z, and that recently you've done X, Y, and Z. Now, would you be interested in a demonstration of my Okie Kokie 2000? It's always that jump between showing some sort of fake compassion.
Yeah, it's a shallow engagement.
Yeah,
it's a shallow engagement. And it results really in low conversions. So yes, it's if you're going to be doing this millions of times over and over again because it's automated and you're just going to become a spammer, it's going to be a race to the bottom because everybody's doing it and the conversions are going to be very slim. And as I want high conversions. I want high engagement. And I feel like the clients who buy stuff that way will get a better service anyway, because it'd be a stronger fit for them. The tools are getting smarter, true, but the sellers are getting lazier or sloppier, or they're just not understanding what's going on.
Okay.
So that's where that sort of lazy chef with a better oven, the food's still going to be shit.
And in actually understanding, it sounds like those AI-generated outreach efforts are focused on showcasing knowledge about you, rather than demonstrating genuine interest in the person they're contacting.
They are doing, in my book, just enough to show that they've taken some notice of who you are without actually demonstrating any interest in finding out more. And that's the human thing. The demonstration of interest is different from regurgitation. And I think at that point we have to draw a close. Maya, it's been lovely talking to you as ever, and we'll talk to you again in the future.
Oh, all right. Well, it's been great chatting with you too, Gareth. Always a good conversation.
And of course, David.
Shall I just give like a little bit of just my thoughts that how this has triggered me?
Okay, so I've stopped Maya. Thank you very much.
Fine. We thank Maya. I feel like the way I'm trying to use AI at the moment, and it's borne out by the conversation we just had with Maya, is that I think that the people that are doing it well seem to be using AI to like enhance or augment curiosity, that thing that elicits deep thought from human beings. It can't replace that. That needs the human. And other things that, yes, as you said, and what something that you do is you focus on feeding it with great prompts, because you've done the thinking first. And I think that also when it's looking for data, like looking, as you said, for keywords on your websites, then of course we can use it to inform questions and find those things, but we can't just plug that in and imagine it's going to do it all for us. AI I don't think is going to make us better at selling, but it will make our bad habits and sloppiness exposed much easier.
I think it's worrying that we need a robot to point out human weakness, but
it's hard for us to face up to it, isn't it?
Yes, I think we need it rammed up our noses before we actually go, all right, I hear you. Maybe we shouldn't keep just banging away at the same thing relentlessly, but I think we have to go through this middle ground first, where people try everything to try and make the new fancy tool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I get everybody to try everything. I mean, I encourage people, just try it, use it. It's what when somebody asks about AI, which is all the time, I ask them what they've done. Typically, they've gone on ChatGPT and they've got it to try and write emails and blogs and proposals for them. That's it. Yeah. So let's go a little bit further. Get it to do some research, practice writing your prompts. Remember that it's not AI versus humans. Certainly not at the moment. It is humans with AI. I mean, I think probably a future topic can take one of these things that we're using AI for, like that discovery call, that first call when we first get in touch with somebody, how AI is going to be able to help with that little bit. What do you reckon?
I reckon you're probably on the money. I do think we are at this weird intervening stage where people are still trying to think, can I use this to open a can? Can I use this to open the curtains? Can I use this to act as a friend? And we're not quite there yet. Also, I think there's going to be a lot of refinement in it. So we're going to find that that it's really good at doing this, not so good at doing that, and gradually the movement will be towards that. But we're not yet there, and so everybody's trying it for everything at the moment. I'm surprised that there aren't robot door knocking people yet. I'm sure that's yet to come. But yeah, it reminds me. There was I don't know if you remember the film The Fifth Element.
I do remember The Fifth Element.
Right. Yeah. At one point, the cleric who feels he's lost Lilu is at the bar getting drunk, and he's drinking away and talking to the bartender, who of course is a robot. And all the robot can say is, "Do you want some more?" And so he would go, she's like perfect, and she was like, she was wonderful. You know what I mean? And he goes, "Do you want some more?" That's his prompt, and that's his response. Until we get to the point where we either realize that the only thing the robot there in that page is focused on is whether or not you want to consume more content, or whether we somehow imbue robots with some sort of fake human compassion. Until we get to either of those points, we're still going to carry on crying our eyes out to the robot bartender who doesn't care.
And don't forget that each one of these AI systems is a commercial organization. It wants you to stay on its AI as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
So it is programmed to keep you on there.
And
Anyway.
Also, the last thing is that most people don't realize. Remember, the golden rule of the internet is forever. So therefore, don't say things to an AI that you don't want at a later date it to come out and repeat back to you, or worse still, repeat to someone else. Whatever you say to them is going to be recorded somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. Until next week. Yeah, we're getting there. Until next week, please keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and try and look after that mental health. Bye-bye now.